Welcome to iUse Evernote, episode 1, all about setting up. At this point I'm going to assume that you have downloaded the program and installed it on your machine. Here I'm looking at the Mac client, which is a little bit different to the Windows client. So let's talk about views first. Up here on the top menu bar you can see there are some view options. I like the Mac client because of this particular view where you can look at thumbnails, and I can tell pretty much straight away the size of a note, whether it's straight text, whether I've got pictures or PDFs. The Windows client typically looks like this: list of notes at the top and the note in the lower pane. In either view you can drag the divider bar. So in this view it's horizontal, you can drag the divider bar to change the relative size of the panes. In the thumbnail view it's vertical, again you can drag the divider bar to change the relative size of the panes. But choose the view that you like working in and run with that. Over here on the left you can see all my notebooks. It's quite a large number of notebooks and can be a bit of a mess. But there's an easy way to sort your information and find it when you need it, which I'll get to very shortly. Let's go through the process of creating a new notebook. If I hover over all notebooks and on the Mac control click, or on Windows right click, you'll see the new notebook option. Click on New Notebook, name it whatever I'd like. Now this will appear make this my default notebook as an option. Your default notebook is the notebook that Evernote captures everything into when you send it to Evernote. I don't want this to be my default notebook. I've already got a default notebook, Daily Capture. I'll explain how I use that in later episodes. The other option you can use is notebook type, whether you want a local notebook or a synchronized notebook. Now the difference is a local notebook lives on your machine. Synchronized notebook is synchronized across the web. So if you have sensitive data, maybe like passwords or financial information, you might want to keep it as a local notebook. It's completely up to you. I'm going to cancel out of that because I don't really want to create a new notebook. So how do we sort all these notes? Well, if I click on any particular note, such as this one here, you can see underneath the note title that I've got tags. If you tag your notes, they're very easy to find. I have 294 notebooks. Let's say I go up here, I want to find all the ones that are related to teaching my subject of health education. So I'll punch in health as a search, and you can see I'm now down to viewing 60 notes from all notebooks. If I'm talking about maybe ideas for teaching, I might put teaching in there as well, and now I'm down to 11 notes from all of my notebooks. So the use of tags is a very good way of actually retrieving your information quickly when you need it. And you can see that it's actually highlighted in the notes where it's found those particular words. You can, Evernote can search within pictures. This will load up slowly. This is within a PDF and it's searched within the PDF, but it can also search within pictures. It will retrieve notes that have all of those tags. If you wish to change it, you hover over the tag, click the X, and you just go back to the one particular tag that you're looking for, and you can see the number of notes that I'm viewing has increased. So that's a good way of actually sorting your notes and retrieving it. So make sure that you tag your notes as you put them in there. Now if we go back to right clicking on all notebooks, you can see there's options to sort your notebooks by name or by count. I specifically choose to sort by name for a reason that I'll explain in a later episode, but you can, if you want, sort by count. So if you like to have smaller notebooks with less number of notes, then sorting by note count, you'll have your large notebooks towards the top, and you know that you've got to file things out into different notebooks. You can see here that you can also export the notes. If I click on that, these options will come up, so I can save it whatever name, but have a look at the format here. You can save it in the Evernote format. So if I wanted to, I could export my entire notebook series and hand that file across to someone else. They could import it into their notebook and have all of my notes. Or I could export it as HTML if you're just going to punch it up and post it on and host it on the web. To me, this could be good for teaching. If I have notes in here that are relative to teaching in my particular subject and my students have Evernote, I can simply export the file, host the file somewhere, they can download it and import it into their Evernote. But maybe that's a discussion for a later date. Now when you delete a note, if you're finished with something, and this happens in my daily capture a lot, right down at the bottom you will see a trash option. So at the moment I've got 9 notes in my trash. Now when you delete a note, it obviously doesn't get completely deleted because this works like a recycle bin. You have the option of restoring the note. You can individually erase the notes or restore the notes. Pretty much when I'm finished with them, I don't want them anymore, so I will right click or control click on the trash icon and essentially empty the trash. Gives you the warning, yep, don't want them anymore, and they're gone. So remember to empty your trash because that can clog up your Evernote if you leave it go too long. Now one other thing to watch with your Evernote client, this bar here shows your current monthly usage. This is a representation of how much data has synchronized across the web. Now the beautiful thing about Evernote is that once it synchronizes a note, it doesn't necessarily count it again. So I've got some fairly heavy notes with pictures and PDFs, take up a lot of memory. So when I first synchronize them, this monthly usage cranks right up. But then once they're synchronized, they don't synchronize again unless I change them. So current monthly usage drops back down again. I'm still using the free version of Evernote. I haven't upgraded to premium. I've never gone towards the top end of the current monthly usage. You can see right now that syncing is happening by this bar down here. You can start syncing by clicking the sync button. The sync button and the sync option synchronizes all your notes on the client you've got at the moment with the web client. So then if I open up my iPod client and it synchronizes, it will drag all the new notes that have gone from my Mac machine to the web onto the iPod Touch. And any new notes that I've created on the iPod Touch will be pushed up to the web client. So the next time I start the Mac client, it will download those changes and bring them into my notebook. To me, that is the real beauty of Evernote. I've got Evernote on my home desktop, my Mac laptop, my Windows C4T laptop, my iPod Touch, and you can access it on the web. Having all those notes synchronized on those locations is fantastic. So that's the basic setup of Evernote. In later episodes I'm going to talk more specifically about how I use Evernote to manage both myself and the learning of my students. Thanks for watching iUse. This has been Shane Tech Teach.